War Room, Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
In the last reel of many of the greatest Westerns we have, in the last moment, the cavalry finally arrives. We've got Col Allen West, a combat veteran, a true patriot. He's head of the Texas GOP. And Texas arrived for the nation today with this amazing lawsuit by Attorney General Paxton. I want to go to Col Allen West. Now, first off, Colonel West, last time we left you, you just had the motorcycle injury down in El Paso near our wall. Tell us, where are you in your therapy? Everybody in the audience wants to know.
Well, sure, and thanks so much, Steve, for having me on. Merry Christmas. And it's been about a 6-month process, and that accident happened over Memorial Day weekend, coming back from a rally in Austin, Texas at the Capitol. And tomorrow morning, I have my last physical therapy session. And so I've got about 85 to 90% range of motion back into my right shoulder. And that's about as good as it's going to get. So I'm able to do push-ups and crunches and go out there and knock out a 5-6 mile run. So I'm good to go.
Okay. Tough as boot leather, as I say. Colonel West, walk us through what happened last night at midnight in this filing of the Supreme Court, and then today. The state of Texas finally arrived. Walter states.
Well, the logic is this. Under the 14th Amendment, equal protection clause, equal protection under law, Texans are severely affected by the fact that you had unconstitutional, illegal actions that were going on in 4 of these battleground states, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. What you saw happen in those states were that judges, courts, and also executives taking actions to change election law. And we know that by the rule of the law, by the Constitution, anytime you want to change a law, that should be done through the legislative process. And because you had those things that happened, as well as some other voter irregularities, now we have a result of an election that does have a negative effect on the people here in the great state of Texas. So what the Attorney General filed last night, a little bit before midnight, was a petition, a complaint from Texas based upon those facts that what has happened in those states does have an effect on the citizens of Texas. And I just found out that Louisiana has joined that lawsuit, and there may be some other states that will join that lawsuit. We're not asking for ballots to be thrown out. We're asking for this to go back to the legislature, and the state legislators being the ones that will decide those electors, which again is constitutional by Article 2, Section 1 of the United States Constitution.
Do you think that states like Texas, Ohio, Florida, that were organized and ran this in a professional manner and got these votes counted and didn't allow all this nonsense with these mail-in ballots, particularly ones that had no chain of custody? Do you think across the board that these states have been damaged by this process, by allowing states and these side deals that were cut and deals that were cut with Zuckerberg, and allow these left-wing organizations to have direct access into the voter registration to hardwire these private partnerships? Do you think that that damaged the state of Texas and other citizens?
Yeah, absolutely right. And that's the crux of this this lawsuit, is that citizens here in Texas, legal voting citizens here in Texas, have been damaged by this. And one of the things that it talks about in the lawsuit is how this whole thing about the coronavirus was used, as Rahm Emanuel would say, never let a good crisis go to waste, for the advantage of these universal mail-in ballots. And we fought against universal mail-in ballots here in Texas, down in Houston, Harris County, where you had the county clerk there, Chris Hollins, who was also the treasurer of the Texas Democrat Party, tried to mail out 2.4 to 2.7 million mail-in ballot applications along the registered voter list, which, of course, the Democrats do not allow you to scrub because they call you racist. So all of these things have come to a head, and this is why we filed a lawsuit. This is not about an election within these states. This is not about a local election. But we're talking about a national level of election that will affect the citizens of Texas and other citizens as well.
You know, what you guys did, Colonel, was so inspiring. I know there's a prosecutor in New Jersey named Eileen that got so motivated. She actually went to, she's associated now with South Carolina. She actually went online and said, hey, I want South Carolina. Look at what these guys did. I want South Carolina to join this lawsuit, because Texas is actually standing up for the little guy. How many other states do you anticipate are going to join you in trying to right this horrible wrong of having the progressive left trying to steal this victory from President Trump, the deplorables, and really the American people?
Yeah, I think that you're going to see about 10 states be a part of this, sign on to this petition, this lawsuit. And I know that, as I said, Louisiana has come on board. You just talked about South Carolina. I believe Missouri and several others will stand beside this as well. Because, again, this is something that damages citizens all across the United States of America. And this is not a Republican thing. It's not a Democrat thing, independent, Green Party, Libertarian. This is an American issue. And America has the gold standard of an electoral system. And if we do not allow that to continue on, we can't have people losing faith and trust and confidence in our electoral system, because that means you are undermining our constitutional republic.
Colonel West, how do people follow you during the day on social media? Can you give us your Twitter and Parler handles?
Sure. You can follow me through the Republican Party of Texas at texasgop.org. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and you can also follow me personally, Allen West, Texas, as well as at Allen West on Instagram, Twitter, and also on Parler.
Every one of our audience has got to sign up for this. Colonel West, you're a great patriot and a great man. Thank you so much. Glad to hear that you're coming back, can do those crunches and push-ups. I know you need that. You live for that. So thank you for coming on here today.
Thanks so much, and go Army, beat Navy.
Thank you, sir. I'm conflicted there. But thank you so much.